Live from the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, we have the Warchant Happy Hour. Welcome to the spring game. We did it. How many practices, how many moments and reps and drills have you watched, Corey? 7 on 7, 11 on 11. Well, it all counts now tomorrow in a different way. Welcome in, everybody, to Warchant TV. I am Tom Lang, sitting in for Mr. Jeff Cameron, who is under the weather today. If you were watching the Cameron Show, you knew that. If not, sorry. Sorry to disappoint you, but here we are. It's me and Corey.
It's a disappointment, not that you're here, because I like sitting with you. Yeah. I probably prefer it, but it's a big moment for Warchant, and Jeff gets a little sniffles and then can't show up.
Oh, all right.
I'm just saying, Tom. I mean, does he care about the fans, or does he not?
Well, Jeff, you have the link to this StreamYard. If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome.
He's not watching this.
Yeah, make sure. He's watching the Masters.
He's watching the Masters.
He's probably asleep on Tamiflu or something.
Yeah.
But that's right. We're live here at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachian Parkway. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook Live, whatever, get over to YouTube, get into the chat, and hit the like button underneath this video. Hit subscribe as well if you have not done so already. The latest content from Warchant TV will be on your YouTube homepage if you hit subscribe to our channel. So for the next hour, we'll be taking your questions, your comments. We'll be talking about the spring game and probably some randomness too.
Yeah, sure.
Have we ever done a live show together? I don't know that we have.
I don't feel that we have, man. It feels magical already.
It is. This is a maiden voyage of sorts.
I can't wait.
So cheers to you. What do you have there?
Look, man. It's Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid?
No, it's vodka and water with a splash of Mios.
Oh, okay.
Fruit punch.
All right. Fruit punch?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically,
that's what all the cool kids are drinking.
You've got some Russian Kool-Aid with the vodka.
Essentially, yeah.
All right, nice.
It's not Russian, though, I don't think.
Well, that's bad right now.
Yeah.
That's Ukrainian. But yeah, Bud Light over here. Just going light.
You're
not doing
simple.
the Big Daddy thing.
Right.
We've got a lot of stuff coming for you on Warchant this entire weekend. This kicks off the first event where we see pillars out there. Joel Davis in the house, James B's in the crowd. Ed's in the crowd. For the rest of the pillars that aren't here, we miss you. But this is the first meet and greet event of sorts. And then tomorrow at noon, you can find us at Hotel Indigo off of Gain Street. We'll be on the 7th floor overlooking Doak Campbell Stadium. It'll be a great time.
And overlooking Recess, apparently.
That's off to the right. That is in the periphery. That's correct. So we'll be out there, and obviously the spring game tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So, Corey, I mean, as well, these questions are rolling in and the cheers and the salutations. I guess your overview of what you've seen so far and what you want to see tomorrow. Let's get serious first before we get silly.
Yeah, last year, I've said it before, last year was a 6-6 team, right? They blew a ridiculous game, the second game of the season that they should have won. It was ridiculous they didn't. But they were a 6-6 talented type team, right? Like they could have maybe gotten to 7. They also could have won 4. You can tell the floor has been raised now where, I mean, I feel like they're appreciably better than they were last year. Like when you think about what they've done in the portal, and Ira retweeted the comment from the Rivals guy about they've had 18 kids enter the portal since September. Florida State has.
Yep.
And only 2 have found homes at Power 5 schools. Meanwhile, almost everyone they brought in has been a Power 5 guy. Like they've just gotten more talented everywhere. They have more depth. They still don't have a great depth. And they're still not a great team, but they look more like a decent ACC football team than they have probably in 4 years.
Yeah, with the upside of a couple of players who look like Florida State players from years past.
Yes.
Like, for example, the freshmen are going to be a couple of guys that people talk about and want to see tomorrow, and they should. Azaria Thomas and Sam McCall.
Yeah.
Those guys look like they used to look like around these parts.
Yeah, and Jared Verse isn't a freshman, but he certainly looks the part physically and athletically. Now, I don't know. We still have to see what he can do like in a game, but he gives them the business. He gives those tackles the business in one-on-ones and in 11-on-11, and he can really move, man. He literally runs, I mean, stride for stride with Jordan Travis, and he's 6'5", 240.
Yeah, that's happened more than once. That wasn't like just one fluke rep. It's happened a couple of times where Jordan thought he could get the corner, and he was wrong. Jared was waiting for him there. It's been an outstanding. As Adam's in the house, man. We got a whole bunch.
That's
of people
crazy,
here.
man.
Wow, this is awesome. It feels like a fall Friday.
It does.
It feels like chill in the air. It's going to be kind of cold tomorrow. But indeed, it is about transfers and early enrollees tomorrow, in addition to some of the guys that we hope are a little bit more improved. But I agree with you, Corey, that if you look at where they were a year ago, right now, and then to fall camp, and then through this spring camp. Every time we reconvene for a camp here in Tallahassee, they are significantly better. And the question is, can they land around that 8-win mark, given injury luck or turnover?
And what they don't really have on offense that we don't know about is, do they have anybody special? Do they have like a all ACC guy? Do they have a guy that's a 3rd-round pick? Or I know it's Florida State, man. You should be hoping for 1st-round picks. Do they have a guy on this offense that's a 3rd-round pick? Do they have 3 guys? Do they have any? Defensively, I think they do. And, Jamie Robinson is a very good player. I don't know where he'll be drafted, but he is a good college football player.
Yep.
I think Amarion Cooper is a good college football player. I think Tatum Bethune is the best linebacker they've had in years. And then the defensive line, especially in the interiors, is very good. So you've got probably more talent on the offense. But it's a term that Jeff uses a lot. I don't like to use, but they had the last few years they've had a lot of slappies. Right.
Yeah.
They don't have that. That number of those kind of players that you would term that has been dwindled significantly.
Yeah.
Right. They don't have guys that don't belong. All those guys, like we talked about, they've transferred out. They still have a few. There's still 6 or 8 or 10, but it's not 30 like it used to be.
Yeah, there's a segment group or 2 on this team where I'm thinking, oh, man, we are stuck in 2017.
Right.
But now it's only a segment group or 2. It's not, the majority of the roster.
And even then, there's some hope in those segment groups.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not like there's guys that have been here 5 years that just can't play. Like these offensive linemen, the young ones, they might be good in a year or 2.
Right.
They're not great now, but they've only been on campus for a year. So they might improve drastically.
Evaluation seems to be a real strong suit for this particular group of newcomers. Like whether it's the transfers or you're talking about the young kids that have come in as early enrollees, it looks like they're hits across the board. Daniel Lyons looks like he's going to be a player in the near future. Bishop Thomas looks solid. On the offensive line, Kaniah Charlton, he's got to lose a lot of bad weight, but you can tell in run blocking there's a reason he's here. He's also agile enough with his footwork at way too big of a weight to get from A to B and pull and do what they want to do.
Omar Graham at linebacker has some instincts. He's same thing. He's got to get bigger, stronger.
Yes.
But he's got some instincts, man.
Yeah.
And then the 2 corners, especially Azareye'h Thomas, he might be, if you were going to pin me down, and how lucky would that be?
Oh, well, no. Yeah.
If you were going to pin me down and ask me who on this team is going to be the highest draft pick, I would say him. Like when they're ready to be drafted, I would say Azareye'h Thomas is going to be the highest drafted player on this roster.
So,
and he could be a 1st-round pick.
There are times when Jimbo said this years ago when preseason came. He was like, I know we got a lot of guys that can win at the combine, but I don't know that we have a lot of football players. The first time I saw Azareye'h Thomas at the tour of duty, I guess what is that, a month and a half ago now? I thought, oh well, that's different. Because he was in a drill with Sam McCall, and McCall it looks much more violent when he's playing the game, even when he's running. Azareye'h is smooth as can be, and he's stride for stride. It just everything looks so easy.
Ball skills
to him.
too.
Ball skills, the range. He's the modern day defensive back with how big he is. But
that was a good get. I don't know. They might get him anyway if Travis Hunter goes somewhere else, but I feel like Travis doing what he did, we'll never forget, Travis. We will never forget. Doing what he did, I think that might have freed up a little cash, little NIL stuff to throw around. And you got Azareye'h, which is not a bad second prize because that guy looks like he can really play.
Well, it's something we talked about on the show today earlier, which is it's a fine line that you have to walk. Given where the program is right now, but yet the tradition of the program and the iconic brand, as they like to point to.
It is an iconic brand.
Even when you win 5 games or 3 games the year before, you can still attract a blue chip level of player, but you can't get the top of the top because Alabama's going to take them, or Georgia, or Ohio State. These are the teams that have routinely finished, A&M recently, in the top 5 of recruiting classes. So you almost have to eliminate the very top of the board for across most positions, but then still find somebody that you think obviously can project and develop into a really good player and is kind of a good player day one.
Because he was a 4-star, right? And he was a 4-star, a pretty high. And I think Florida State got really lucky, man. Like in the sense that they weren't really in on that kid. Like they were in on him, but he didn't seem all that interested. I think it was like an LSU, Oklahoma, Florida battle.
Yeah.
And then Oklahoma's coach leaves, LSU's coach gets fired, and Florida's coach gets fired, and all of a sudden you're looking pretty good because you've kept that relationship the whole time. And on signing day, as much as it stung that Marvin's kid went elsewhere, we're not going to forget that either, Marvin. Well, not you, Marvin Jones Sr. We'll always have love at Florida State. Junior, man, I don't know about that. But then, but that was a nice, again, to pull him on signing day, just because what we've seen the last month, man, that was a huge get, because that kid could be really good in a year or two.
He seems to have his head screwed on right, too.
Yeah.
You know, you saw his signing day ceremony. He was all about family. And like, there's some kids that, they just want to do a shuffle in front of the camera and play the card game, the hat game.
And I would be one of those kids for sure.
I think you would, yeah.
I definitely would.
You would certainly encourage Brady to do so if he had a bunch of D1 offers. Like,
absolutely.
Make this as drawn out and ridiculous as possible.
It's going to be a 45-minute episode.
But they stayed on him. Coach Woodson stayed on him. Florida State didn't make the cut when he had the graphics that said top 5 or top 3. Florida State's logo was not on one of those for Azaria, but they found a way. It's just, I think it's such a fine line to walk when you're not a good football program in the moment. Even if you have history, like, who can you realistically bring in?
Yeah.
And can they make a difference? They've done a good job with at least this class, and we'll see a lot more of that tomorrow. A couple of questions so far. Gator Kirk, practice was closed today, so no Warchant staff was at today's practice. They're just doing it.
But it was also like a walkthrough, basically, more than anything else. Yeah.
It was indeed. Charles T said, where's Jeff? Is he inebriated? And I said, well, maybe if there's a toddy to help himself feel better, then that's perhaps the case. And our first contribution of the day from Chad. Chad, thank you so much. See, now my eyes are getting so bad, I have to lean in like you did before. I know. Boy. I got to go to the focal point or somewhere. Let's see. I ain't your Huckleberry CC. Next round on me, guys. Thanks for all you do. Ultras and Bud Lights should be en route. Go Noles. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Chad. You're the best. You know that.
And we appreciate the Bielskis here because Tri-Eagle Sales and Bud Light is sponsored next week golf tournament. Free beer for every player.
That'll be this time next week, right? That'll be next week.
We'll be right back here at Corner Pocket. If we're still here at the banquet at 5 o'clock, that means it got really exciting here at CP. But so if you had to pick a side of the ball tomorrow that you're more excited to see rather than a player, because we all know that people want to see Micah Pittman and Johnny Wilson and Jared Verse and Tatum Bethune. A lot of transfers or newcomers, they want to see AJ Duffy. Do you want to see something out of the offense tomorrow or the defense tomorrow?
I'm all about the offense, man. As I wrote earlier this week, the offense has just been too bad for too long, and you can't be good in 2022 without a potent offense. Certainly not an impotent offense, which is what this offense has been for a large stretches of the last 5 years. And unless you have an elite defense, like I did the story, there's been 58 teams the last 2 years, the last 2 full years, that have gotten 8 wins in the Power 5. Only 11 scored less than Florida State did last year. And of those 11, like last year, Iowa scored 21 points a game, which is just, what are they doing to themselves in Iowa City? Like, I can't imagine that can't be fun. But their defense is really good. And Wisconsin had the #1 total defense in the country. They were one of the 8-win teams that scored less than Florida State. Clemson scored less than Florida State. They had the #2 scoring defense in the country. Florida State's not going to have that. No. So when you're going to be playing close games and you don't have superior talent at on defense, you might have a good defense. You're not going to have a great elite defense. You got to score 34 points a game. That's the number. You've got to score 400 points in a season, in a 12-game season, which comes to 33.3 points per game. And last year they scored 27.6. They've got to find a way to score a touchdown more per game. And if they do that, 8 wins shouldn't be all that hard. Yeah, a couple of things there. Number one, Iowa plays in a conference that, even though they've got more money than God these days, still finds a way to have 17-10 football games on the regular. It's insanity. Number two, Florida State's quarterbacks. Do you ever feel bad for Pam Ward? No. That she always has to comment. She always has to do the play-by-play for a Big Ten noon game. I'm sure that check is pretty nice. So, but God, it's got to ruin your love for football. Come on, everybody, let's get ready for Indiana and Illinois coming up next on the big noon kickoff. 13-10 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, part of me feels bad, but again, that check clears pretty nicely. But the other thing is Florida State's quarterbacks, in terms of the guys they're going to seed this year, they're all like 25 years old. Yeah. They've been playing college football forever. So you do need to score more points because you got to keep up, man. Yes. You got to keep up. Like, the only thing, I was telling this to Aslan on the show this week, maybe, there's only one elite aspect of this offense at all. There's one thing that somebody is elite at, and it's Jordan Travis running. Yeah. He is an elite runner as a quarterback. He's probably an elite runner just as a college football player. He's got some special stuff, but you can't win 8 or 9 games with him scrambling around and throwing for 120 yards. Right. And what is improving, what is encouraging, is that his last 3 games last year, Miami, at BC, at Florida, he averaged like 248 yards passing per game. That's encouraging. That is something you can build on. And if he can get to that again, he doesn't have – we want him to be better. We want him to be much better as a thrower. But even if he isn't, if he just looks like he did those last 3 games, you got yourself a shot because everybody around him is supposed to be better.
Okay, so you need 6 more points a game. Here's an obscure question for you. You ever see the movie Dave?
About the president,
Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline, married Phoebe Cates, by by the way, from Fast Times at Ridgemont.
Really?
Yeah. God bless him.
Well, a toast to Dave.
Kevin Kline got after things in the 80s. That was not. I mean, that's incredible.
So. That is the poll of the other than Tawny Katane. That's about as good as you can do.
Tawny Katane, that's right.
There you go. See, I read my history books in school.
Yeah, you did.
So you remember the budget scene when they got to put everything together because they're trying to make sure that they don't cut. I think it's like childcare or like daycare centers or whatever it is. All right. So how do we get to 6 points? Let's do the exercise. You think the receivers are better, markedly better than they were last year? Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
not just the 2 guys you brought in. I think the guys that are returning are better. Pokey.
Yes.
I would say Mike has probably been the best receiver in camp. Micah Pittman, the kid from Oregon. But I would say Pokey's probably been number 2. Like Pokey's been good. And Pokey was good at the end of the season. He made some plays against Miami. He had a really good game against Florida.
There was a play in practice 2 or 3 weeks ago. I brought this up several times, but it bears repeating. He's lined up in the slot one-on-one with Kevin Noles. And he absolutely dusts Kevin Noles, who is quite good at covering it specifically in the slot, creates an opening for Jordan Travis to make a throw outside the numbers, which he does very well. But that's not about Kevin Noles slipping and falling down. It's about Pokey making a play.
Right.
And if you slide him down the depth chart 1 or 2 slots, then he ends up being a nice player rather than a featured offensive weapon. So, okay, that's worth at least a couple of points a game that the receivers are better, right? Because now Jordan Travis is throwing, we would think, ostensibly to more open targets rather than guys are just covered like a blanket and he has to make a play with his legs, extend something.
Right.
So more traditional pass play success. Okay. Do we think the defense is better overall? They're going to be worse at rush end. They can't be the same as they were last year.
Right.
But the strength of it, Tatum Bethune now, more roles for players in the defensive backfield. It seems like those solidified. Will they be better?
The defense as a whole you're talking about.
Yes.
I wouldn't have said so a month ago, but after watching legitimately every practice they've had, I think they will be better than they were last year. I wouldn't have ever dreamed that. All of it, it all hinges on health, but if they can stay healthy, especially up front, because I just don't I'm not in love with the depth behind your 2 tackles. I think those 2 guys, Cooper and Lovett, are good players, but they can't play any snaps a game. So who's behind them? And then I want to see if McClendon is really something. I think Burks will be, but I don't know about McClendon. But overall, the linebackers the back seven's a lot. I think it's a lot better. I think, I'm not trying to kill the kid, but it might have been a little addition by subtraction. As hard as Jarvis Brownlee played, and he played 90 snaps a game. Like he played more snaps than anybody on the team. Like he was always on the field. He just wasn't a great cover corner. He just wasn't, wasn't fast enough to keep up with great receivers, and he gave up a lot of big plays. I think you're going to be better at corner.
And yet he was more consistent than Jerrion Jones on the other side at sometimes making plays in coverage, where Jerrion had a rough year.
But he did. But you've got Greedy Vance now, another transfer, who if he's not going to pull a jersey, he's a pretty good corner. But he does do that a little bit.
Yeah.
But then also the young kids. And you've got real competition there. You've got and Cooper, I think, is a lockdown, not lockdown like Dion, but he's locked down that other spot.
Yeah.
Like Amarian Cooper's been the best DB they've had in spring other than Jamie Robinson.
Clutching Pearl's ACC officiating will not like Greedy Vance, nor will they like Jamie Robinson.
No, they're going to, yes, absolutely.
So if you get that guy that was in Chestnut Hill, there's going to be a lot of flags thrown, but you've got more options there. Renardo Green's had a decent camp.
Yeah, Renardo too. Renardo might start at corner.
Exactly. Yeah. And then by the end of the year, who knows? Maybe that job is taken by 20, or somebody else. But point being, your 2 outside corners are already better. You feel better about linebacker with Bethune. They also look, and tell me if you disagree with this, but they look like they're more apt to go get the ball on defense. Create turnovers. They flashed that against Miami. Like that was a really good game in terms of finding the football, closing down, making plays. They even did it against Florida. Kalen DeLoach had a nice pick. There was an interception in the end zone too against the Gators, but that looks more sustainable. Early last year, they were just trying to be in phase and in position.
Yeah, and they still didn't do much when they were there.
No, they did not. Now it looks like they're making plays for once. Okay, so the defense we feel is like better overall. Not better at the specific position that you lose Keir Thomas and Jermaine Johnson, but better. Okay, Micah Pittman is going to catch punts, Corey.
I know. I can't believe it. I can't wait. I
Do
hope
you
they
pray
punt
towards
tomorrow.
his residence 7 times a day, thanking God that
Somebody came in that will go catch a punt.
Catch a punt. Yes.
I did a story last year on Warchant where because I'm a nerd and I don't have much of a life. No offense to this one, but I was when I was up in Atlanta. Not when I'm down here, I have a life, but up there it's just being a dad. But I counted all the punts that they
Being
let
a dad
drop.
is no life.
I counted all the punts that they let drop last year and how many yards they lost, and it was 180 yards they lost just in punt rolls, which is insanity. I mean, that's 100. That's 18 first downs they lost. That's more than a first down a game they lost in punt rolls. So yes, just having a kid like Jeff was joking yesterday. If you can just catch it and run 5 yards and fall down, you're so much ahead of the game than you were last year.
Right.
You're not going to know what to do with yourself.
So
wait, we don't have the ball at the 11? We get to 40? Are you kidding?
Specifically with punt returns, you should be in a position to gain about 200 to 250 yards of field position over last year.
Yeah,
totally.
Legitimately, like this guy. This guy is. I mean, I'm trying not to jinx him, but this guy is really good at just going and catching punts. He seems to have an innate ability for it. So let's hope that continues.
So I found you 17 more points for the season. That's another point a game.
Sure.
The question is, and we got this question today on the show: is special teams going to be better? I don't know. They repped the hell out of it last year, so we thought they were going to be exceptional special teams because they spent so much damn time on it.
They were not.
And they weren't. So it's hard to tell. It's not like special teams are live in scrimmages or in the spring game anyway. So you won't be able to tell that tomorrow whether special teams are better. But at punt return, we do know for a fact if Micah Pittman is healthy, they're going to be better. And if Winston Wright heals up in the offseason and is available to play, kick returner is one of the big things that he did very well at West Virginia.
I would say this, though. If Winston Wright doesn't heal up, and we don't know if he will or not, I wonder if they'll go get another guy in the portal. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they've seen enough from these younger guys, the Portiers, the Williamsons, McLean, to feel like Burrell, I guess, to feel like, sorry, Josh, I was dismissive, to feel like they don't need to go get somebody else. But I feel like they might, although Ja'Kai Douglas, I think, can be something. He's made some big plays in his career already, and he's been a pretty good receiver in this camp.
So let's compare.
I think I'm good.
So let's compare some notes. Ja'Kai Douglas. How do you feel about his camp? I think it started well, and it's kind of been okay since, but it started really well. Is that fair?
Yeah, he hasn't done a lot in 11-on-11 for me.
Yeah.
Nobody has with that first-team offense, but that doesn't mean he can't. He can't have a role. But, yeah, Pittman and Johnny Wilson are the two guys that have really stood out to me. I know Jeff he doesn't dismiss Johnny Wilson, but he has a lot of arrows to shoot at him. But that guy consistently gets open. He is not great at catching the ball yet. What he is great is getting open, which is, I know catching the ball is really important. Like, that's a big thing about a receiver, Tom. You want to catch a football.
Right, that's right.
That's a big part of the job.
You don't want it to hit the grass before you do.
But, buddy, Florida State has had a bunch of guys in the last 5 years that could catch a football. The problem is they couldn't get open, so it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. This guy at least gets open, so he's tackled that part. Yeah. And he is a big body. And you talk about where you find those extra, whatever it would be, an extra 6 points a game. Converting third downs is a big deal, my man, and they were horrible at it.
That's your thing. Okay, so
they were horrible at converting third downs last year. Johnny Wilson should help with that because he's a big body in the middle of the field.
Number one, I shared with Jeff what we said yesterday at practice, which is, Johnny couldn't have played well if you showed up, Jeff. But since you didn't come to practice yesterday.
Yeah, he was good Thursday, yeah.
There were some, parts of practice where it was a bit of fits and starts, but overall he made probably 4 or 5 really, really good plays in practice.
Yeah, including a touchdown.
And there's one play in particular I remember, again, from a little while back, since we've seen 12 of these, whatever it is, a deep shot play down the middle on a post from Jordan Travis. And guess what? Johnny made the play. Nobody else could catch the ball except for Johnny Wilson on this roster, given where Jordan put it.
Yep.
If you can somewhat consistently bring the ball down in those situations, what does that do? The defense has to be scared hell. I was almost going to do the NSFW, but I didn't put the tag. They'll be scared crapless of it. Only Jeff can really deliver the four-letter bombs. He does an exceptional job. But
give a hoot.
At that point, now you have something that you haven't had in years, which is a defense has to play you honest.
Yeah.
Last few years, especially last season, once they figured out, all right, well, Jordan Travis is a good player, like Clemson's game plan. All right, we're going to beat him in the line of scrimmage, first of all. Secondly, we're just going to sell out and force him to beat us through the air. He did with Toafili, but it wasn't enough, and they couldn't get the first downs necessary with 4 minutes to go.
Right.
What you're saying and what you've talked about in 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 4s, You might be able to extend that 4-minute drive with a guy like Johnny Wilson. It doesn't matter that he's covered.
Yeah.
That's why you go get a big hoss like that.
And he's like having a good tight end, man. And they do not have one of those. Yeah. But it is like having a good tight end where you have a big body that can be in the middle of the field, or you get one-on-one on the outside, and you feel like he can either run by the guy or you can back shoulder it or just throw it up, and the guy's going to make a play.
Fun question.
Make a play.
Well, fun question for you.
Okay.
We talked a lot of ball. We're about 25 minutes. It's already time's flying when you break down the Noles.
It's great. It's great.
What's the first thing you want to do when spring practice is over? I don't know if you're covering Tuesday or not, but what you going to do? You're going to hop on the golf course? You're going to take Stephanie to the beach? What you going to do?
Probably a bath, like just a long bath with candles. And Inya's a thing, right? Is Inya? Yeah.
You tell me if she's on your playlist.
Yeah, so it's a long bath, probably an hour bath with just candles.
Okay.
Suds.
Make sure In the Arms of the Angels is on the playlist.
There you go. Yeah, it'll be Sarah McLachlan. Just a bunch of Sarah McLachlan. Yeah, something like that. That's what I've been thinking. I've been dreaming about that for a whole month. What about you?
Well, hang on. Do you have a garden tub or is it an old school bath? Like, what are you looking for here?
It's an outdoor tub like they have in those Silas, whatever the erection, the Cialis commercials. I have an outdoor tub where I just look out in the yard.
Commercial?
Yeah, the erectile functioning commercials.
Why don't they just name one of the drugs Erectus? You know,
yeah.
It's like, why do you have to have this fancy name?
Erectus help us.
Just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Well, whatever my plan was, I'm changing it. And not I don't want to have
two tubs. Just like the commercial. We could be right by each other.
It's a brave new world, but I'm not ready for that.
Okay.
I'm not ready for that quite yet. But that does sound very relaxing. No, tomorrow, Sunday, everybody's going to be so sick of me because I got this show today filling in for Jeff. I'm on all day tomorrow, so I'm not doing the Smash on Sunday.
Right, yeah, that's right.
So I'll be probably here watching golf on Sunday, watching the Masters finish up. A lot of people locked into the Masters and Tiger today. Looks like he is on pace to make the cut. But
I think is he +1 still?
Yeah, I can't tell.
I couldn't see the score. He didn't hit it. He's on 13, I think.
One of us has to get LASIK so we can report to the other one.
Ridiculous.
Like in practice, I bring the binoculars and you're like, all right, who is that? I'm like, I got you, no problem. Nobody is the eyes today. Still, everybody who has joined us at Warchant Happy Hour, I see a couple of questions coming in about Jeff. He'll usually be here. He's just sick today, so we apologize for his absence. But Eric, I see you out there. He's shouting out everybody in all the pillars. We wish you were here, Mr. Angel. But he says hi to, he says hi to Shane, James B., the whole crew, Joel, everybody who's here. Everybody. Ed.
Yeah, we did it.
Shane, Michelle, Ed. There you go.
There we go. You like that? A Corey chant.
Look at that. That's
a Corey chant. Well, you can't chant Tom. It's a one-syllable thing.
It's syllable.
Hard. Yeah, see, that's hard to do.
Yes, they can. I believe I have been initiated into the Warchant Happy Hour, so that's good. All right. Well, cheers, everybody. Again, hit like underneath this video, and if you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button to Warchant TV. We got you covered. We have everything going on tomorrow, including the return of the Warchant rap. I have missed the hell out of the rap.
It's been a minute.
Do you have any hijinks planned for that?
No.
Is there anything they could do in the spring?
No. I think I got some planned for LSU if they win that one.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to do something special there.
If they beat
it's LSU.
Involve
beads.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
You're going to flash the camera?
Somebody's throwing beads. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up the graphic right now.
Bill just had a really good. Me and Ira will do the Brian Kelly recruit dance. We're just rubbing up on each other in a very confined space. That's a great image. What a visual.
We've got to find the song.
And that
whatever that song was.
That kid chose Alabama, by the way, weirdly.
Yeah. And he's just he is grinding.
He's all up on him.
He's done everything wrong so far. Please don't let that work. Please don't let that work.
He's a really good football coach, but hopefully it's not this year.
So there's your promo graphic. We are already through almost half of this stuff, but tomorrow, Hotel Indigo, Main Street, 7th floor. 7th floor in the elevator. Turn right again, go down the hallway, and you'll find us for a meet and greet. Starting at noon, the whole staff will be there. We've got Warchant Watch Along with me and Gene Williams. Gene's out there somewhere. He's wandering outside on the deck. Beautiful afternoon at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We got the post-game show, the Warchant Wrap, all of that to do. So if you haven't signed up, you haven't subscribed, do so right now. What else about tomorrow? Are you excited to see non-media members, in the guest coaching roles? Does that interest you at all?
Who is it? It's Cannell and it's Cannell. It's
that to me.
Brian McFadden.
Yep. And I'm just going to keep saying yep and guessing.
I know Terrell Buckley is an honorary captain.
Yeah, Bolware.
Congrats to him, by the way, for being the Orlando XFL head coach.
Yep. Yeah.
Peter Bolware, not Michael.
Yep. Peter Boulware, Cannell, EJ will be here.
EJ, that's right. I'd like to see EJ. I like EJ. Yeah, EJ got a lot of. He didn't get a ton of love, but it didn't help him that the guy that took over after him was what he was. EJ was you would love EJ Manuel right now as your quarterback, right? Don't you think?
Oh, easily, especially the EJ who wanted to run in this system.
Well, right, yeah.
He wouldn't need to. First of all, he would need to.
He would run for
Otherwise,
his life.
that AC joint would be about 7 reps before it happened. But I remember a couple of press conferences on Mondays where he and Jimbo said the exact opposite thing about the same play, and I was like, oh man.
Well, yeah,
they didn't always get along.
Or an injury, they would say this opposite thing.
And then Jimbo was ready to kind of change his ways. It was the preseason press conference in 2013 where he said, sometimes you just tell a kid something to tell him something, not to teach him. And it was like, he learned the lesson from failing EJ. Yeah, and then you could tell Jameis anything, it would work. So
and that was Jameis. What's funny is Jameis could have handled and probably did handle angry, mean, maniacal Jimbo, but EJ needed probably some softer gloves occasionally, and not to be told he's an idiot or he doesn't know what he's doing. And it did. Jimbo learned his lesson after the fact, where if he'd maybe learned it with Ponder, because Ponder could handle it too. Yes. And EJ was just a little different, and I think if he'd have changed his ways a little bit before EJ, who knows what happens at 12? Well, maybe they beat NC State.
They found a way. They invented a way that night. But what was the common thread between Christian and Jameis? Anytime Jimbo would lose his crap, they'd laugh at him.
Yeah, they'd smile.
Like, you're crazy.
Yeah, they understood what it was, what they were seeing, and what it was. Yeah,
because Jimbo would throw personal insults at them, and they're like, "Whatever, little man, it's fine. We're gonna be okay."
Yeah.
Whereas EJ took that stuff to heart, and that doesn't make him soft. That makes Jimbo a coach who failed a player in that moment.
Exactly. But going to something else I'd like to see, I've talked about him a lot, man. I just don't want to see Rodemaker urinate the bed. I don't want to see Rodemaker soil himself. I want to see Rodemaker play the way he's played, because if he plays the way he's played this spring, people will see what we're talking about, and they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, he has improved. They don't need a transfer portal guy, because this guy's a good enough backup. Like, look, if you lose your starter, you're gonna lose something clearly. That's the reason Jordan's the starter. But Rodemaker has been so much better than I thought he could be, that I hope he doesn't go out tomorrow and look like the guy against whoever. I guess that was Jacksonville State 2 years ago. Tomorrow
night is an I told you so night, either for the media or for the fans
that are like, oh yeah, we're not listening to you anymore. So hopefully he goes out and plays well. I think that's the only thing, because what if he doesn't, Tom? What if Rodemaker goes out there and throws a couple horrible picks, doesn't look good? Do you all of a sudden start questioning what you saw in the spring? And do you all of a sudden, if you're Mike Norvell, go, can I really throw that guy out there if Jordan Travis gets hurt? Do I need to go to the portal?
I don't know if it's the negative play as much as the look in his eyes when he comes back to the sideline after the negative play. If he looks lost, then I know all I need to know. If I'm Mike, that really, I've got to spend a spot on this, or at least investigate it. So your lexicon's amazing, by the way. I didn't know this word existed, but I put it up in the lower third. The word of the day is shit urinate. That is a new word, shit urinate.
Yeah.
Which means to soil oneself.
Yes, sure.
That's right.
Yes. I didn't pronounce the T there.
And Merriam-Webster. I looked it up. Shit urinate.
Pretty simple.
It is a Clarkian in origin. That's the etymology of this word. But I agree. It's a big day for him tomorrow. Everything he did to this point can be undone, I think, if the doomsday scenario.
Which is sad. It shouldn't be, but it's the truth. Like, you have to perform in the moment, and it's a spring game. It's going to be 20,000 people there, maybe. Whoever the country artist is might bring in some people. I don't know who it is. I know he does have a song called "Buy Me a Boat." So whoever the country guy is that's performing after the spring game, but if you can't do it in front of people ever, then you have to wonder, okay, doing it in the IPF is one thing. It's great. But if you can't translate it to when people are watching, and I'm not saying I expect him to, I hope he plays well. But if he doesn't, I think it does give you pause.
Yeah. And again, he's better. His worst is better than most of his good in last year at this time in Kansas.
Yes, you're right. That's true too. Yeah.
Like even some of the bad throws, you're like, well, that was terrible, but it's to nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. It's not in our end zone.
Right. He's not trying to make a tackle.
There's a huge difference there. Again, it's just that's what we're coming back to. I said this today earlier on the show too, where the coaches want this more than we do, but I can understand the feeling, which is essentially, I hope they look tomorrow like they looked all of spring camp. I hope it's a representative day for everybody so they can see what we have seen.
Yeah.
Because if they play tomorrow the way that we've seen for the better part of a month, I think people are going to be fairly excited all summer long. But if they urinate themselves tomorrow, then people are going to – it fundamentally affects the way folks will view this summer, and it makes life harder for Mike and for everybody to raise the money necessary that they need to do. And that's not just NIL. That's across the board. So tomorrow's a big day just to make sure that the momentum and the hype continues on in the summer. If they look terrible, then, buddy, we've got a big job ahead of us this summer to wrangle the crew.
But I don't think they will, do you? Like, I think they'll look good. By the way, Tigers +2. I think he just birdied to get to +2. And he's got 15 coming.
Okay. All right. 15's a 3-shot par 5 all week this week, too. They lengthened that hole. Yeah. +2 is you'll easily make the cut today at +2. That's right. So Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, we haven't promoted them enough.
Yeah, it's getting crowded in here.
It is. 2475 Appalachia Parkway. If you can't find that, cptallybar.com. Then you'll find directions that way. But people are filing in Major League Baseball on the screens, but the Masters on the bulk of them, and that's the correct play. If you were running a bar today, I think you would put the Masters on more televisions.
Yes, I would too. I don't know what's going on here. I'll be honest.
How much of last night's Braves game did you watch?
Not much. I went out to dinner with Shane and Michelle, the pillars, one of the pillars of the show. Went out to dinner at a local restaurant, and then saw that the score was 6-1 when I tuned it up. It was like, and I'm through with Snitker.
Already?
I'm done with it. Fire him. The honeymoon's over.
Thanks for the World Series. You're fired.
You're done. That's a ridiculous performance.
That's like something a Premier League team would do. Thank you for winning the table.
That's it.
You're fired. You're sacked.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, I stayed up last night till about midnight watching the Mets because they got delayed. I was like, the hell with
And
this.
they won, though. That's a good win. It's good to start. Good opening win.
They're 40-19 on opening day. They don't win anything else, but they win opening day.
Yeah, that is weird.
But that's what's on the TVs this weekend. Tomorrow, again, ACC Network, 5 o'clock. Hopefully this year there is not a lacrosse game that goes overtime.
So
for about
explain
10,
to people
minutes.
the watch-along thing.
Sure.
Because what it will be, it'll be you and Gene watching the game. I mean, it kind of is what it sounds like. It's a watch-along. But they watch you watching the game, and I guess they can comment and interact with you as you're watching the game.
Yes.
You aren't broadcasting the game.
No,
you're not going to be, there goes Johnny Wilson for a 75-yard touchdown, and, oh, no, he dropped another one. You're not doing that stuff, but you're commenting on what you see after the fact.
Yes, this is very much a pilot and how we're going to navigate in and out. That's right. Spring game is low leverage. Duquesne is the second closest to that
pretty low leverage too. Yeah,
low leverage. But what we're going to do is just to give you an idea, if you tune in for it, we will continually tell you when an action is happening, such as here comes the opening kickoff now, so you can sync up with us at home. Yeah, because not everybody's going to be on at the same time. DirecTV is not as fast as Comcast.
And you don't want to be too far ahead. Yeah.
And then what we're going to do for anybody who is in the comments section, we're turning off the comments while the football is in play, while plays are happening, because we don't want to get spoiled for us. If somebody's got to feed 5 seconds faster than us, we don't want it spoiled. So then once there's a stoppage or a timeout, we'll come to the comment section and interact with everybody. But we're going to give you opinions on the fly as things happen. You might get a Masters update or two because,
maybe.
Listen, let's be honest. Spring games are interesting, but there's a lot of boring in between too. Like there's a lot of setup times for the shtick that they're doing, and then you just see people aimlessly walking on the field. So we're going to find things to do. And what we found, Corey, and you agree with this, and you've seen a lot of this feedback, is people complain about the live broadcast all the time.
Yes, they do.
That they don't talk about Florida State enough, or the points they make are asinine, or they get names wrong. You will only
be talking about Florida State.
That's correct. We've got no other choice, especially with the spring game being the only game in town.
RG3 action.
Right. There will be some Saturdays where we do this Warchant watch along where there will be other games around the country, and you could talk about those as other subjects. But buddy.
You think Mark Jones occasionally with RG3 is like at a break is like, come on, man. You don't have to say that. Yeah. Like, you didn't need to say that. Just comment on the game.
I know that ESPN executives and your agents say as many sound bites as possible.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean
catchphrases.
You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to. That's better for Get Up with Mike Greenberg on Monday morning.
Yeah,
Please.
sure.
Don't. And the problem is when you're as sorry as this program has been and you're under 500 routinely.
Well, yeah, you don't get Herb Street. And I know there aren't some people don't like Herb Street, but you're not getting the top flight. And I think the thing about RG3, though, is I might be in the minority here. I think when he's actually talking about the game,
he's quick.
He's good.
Yes.
It's when he tries to give, like you said, a soundbite or a catchphrase. Like, I can't even think of a catchphrase. Where's the beef? That's a recent one, right? But when he's trying to come up with a catchphrase, that's when it's trouble.
Hey, where's the cream filling? That's the stuff. Hostess. You don't remember the Hostess commercial?
Of course I do.
Yeah. That's like a Mad Excursion last year. I think it was the ALCS. he was trying to call a home run, as in predict one, so bad that on 4 consecutive pitches in Fenway Park, he's like, could really use a home run here. And then they hit it, and he's like, there it is.
Yeah,
and it's
just so he could have his moment. Yeah.
It's a very RG3 moment where you're trying too hard. Stop trying so damn hard. We will not try hard tomorrow.
I'm not trying hard now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm trying less than you are.
No, we're just going through the motions.
What flavor is that now?
This is
do you have assorted berries?
Yeah. Of course I do. This is strawberry pineapple. I ran out of the fruit punch, so now it's strawberry pineapple, and I got orange in the car.
Which one give me your power rankings? Which one do you like
pineapple is strong. Strawberry pineapple is probably 1 in my book. Fruit punch 2.
Fruit punch 2. Lemon lime? No.
No.
You're not a lemon lime guy.
No, our lemonade. Acai berry is pretty good.
Okay.
And then the lemonade lime stuff is trash.
All right.
It's okay. Thank
That's
you, man.
Me. Oh man, I'm slacking.
Oh boy.
This is like a 3/4 full
Daddy's
beer.
gonna have a fun night.
He really does in his personal life refer to himself as daddy, everybody. That's
right.
That's
it's not a
100%
stick.
true.
Yeah,
that's not just for Warchant TV.
That's not for you guys.
You're getting to see the bonus features,
Yeah.
even though this is the main feed. Oh, I've lost my way after asking you power rankings.
Are there any questions?
I mean, not really. People are just saying they wish they were here, and I agree.
Oh, yeah. Well, you should be here.
I agree,
yeah.
Troy. I wish you lived in Tally, too. Troy, your Yankees got that win. Well, screw you, pal. Troy, Corey. Troy's in the chat.
Troy, yeah.
Octavia wants to be. He wants
That's
to be.
That's a good question. Bill can ask us a real question. That's
all right.
Who do you expect to be the starting 5 on the offensive line?
Left side is locked down with Robert Scott, Dylan Gibbons. From there, you could make some arguments. You would agree, though, on the left side. That's locked in.
Yeah, and I think Lyles will be the center. I think they really like Maurice Smith, but he's got to be bigger, man. He can't be pushed around like that.
Yeah.
No matter how good he is technically, he's not big enough.
No. And that's a question I'm sure is coming. That's like, what do you need to see from the training room from specific offensive
exactly.
linemen?
Well, how much bigger does he need to be? So Caden Lyles, I do still think Darius.
Yep. Where?
Guard.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
And then Bless Harris.
Bless has been good.
It's a great shot by Tiger, by the way. It looks like he might have a birdie putt coming up on 14.
Really?
Yeah, like a 10-footer.
On 14. All right, Tiger. Yeah, I see it. I'm on delay over here on the right side.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Bless was another hit in the portal.
Well, we'll see. I think right now he's their best option. Now, we don't know what the portal gives us in May.
True.
In the middle of April and May, there might be some other stuff. There might be better players out there. But, I think right now that would be my starting 5.
Here's what I know I've seen from Bless Harris, or when he's not on the field. Derek McClendon had a really hot start to camp. When Bless Harris was getting reps against Derek McClendon, his camp cooled a little bit.
Yes.
He still succeeded, but not at the every play rate that he started the first week or two. The other thing is, in following the offensive line, which is one of my assignments this spring camp, when Alex Atkins would give him an instruction, he was among the quickest in that group to be able to assimilate the teaching point and then play it out at the next time they were doing drills.
Atkins said something interesting about Bless Harris, too. He said that he'll sometimes have him run with the threes, like just throw him in there when he thinks he's done because he's done his work. And he's like, no, I want to see how he plays when he's tired and when he's not expecting it. So sometimes he'll just throw him in with the threes to get his conditioning up to see if he can still do it 12 plays in a row, 16 plays in a row. So I thought that was interesting. And you wouldn't do that for a kid you weren't expecting to play, right?
Correct.
They're not doing that for all those guys. They're doing it for Bless Harris.
No, and that's something he said. I'm glad he admitted it because it bears out. Like when it's 1s, 2s, and 3s the last week or so, 58 is still out there. You're like, oh my God, they're trying to like run this kid into the ground. Because Atkins said after one of the scrimmages, I noticed he got tired today. So they're trying to get him in better shape because they're trying to run more plays and they want him to be out there for as many plays as possible. My fear, though, is that Darius might not be as natural a guard as they say he is, like with the versatility. I don't know what I've seen a mixed bag. Now, it could be because Cooper and Lovett are on the field and they're really good players.
Yeah, they do that to a lot of natural guards.
But I feel like you almost have kind of the same player between Darius and Bless Harris in terms of solid right tackle, not a world beater, not first team all ACC, but a solid player. And they didn't try Bless out as much.
But they're not tragic. Like 2 or 3 years ago, they were tragic. They're not tragic there no matter who's playing there, which is a big – like you're not going to have a great offensive line. You probably won't even have a good offensive line.
Yep.
If you're average-ish or a little above average, you know, that's a step up.
Well,
and they were all back. They're all back, and they weren't horrible last year.
No.
And they added Caden Lyles and Bless Harris. So they should be better than they were last year. And if they're better than they were last year, That is a competent, solid, middle-of-the-road ACC offensive line.
Yeah, and I can tell you, too, that one of the names I'll mention early in the fall, just as we start fall camp around the beginning of August, Thomas Schrader is a name. They are bullish on Schrader. When, Mike couldn't have been more effusive about the fact that he had 15 reps in the second scrimmage.
Yeah, got to see it.
And then somebody asked him a follow-up. I forget who it was, and his response was, he's going to help us in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then in fall camp, that's a huge camp for Thomas Schrader. And if he's an answer at guard or Estes, somebody else they've worked in with some important reps, then you feel better about if you whiff in the portal. But I still think at the end of the day, you need to dip in there and see if you can find you. I don't care if it's a guard or a tackle. Doesn't matter.
No, just best available, man. They're drafted in that spot in the NFL draft where it's just best available. You get a corner that's great.
Yep.
You're Florida State is in no position really to turn down any really good players in the portal at any position. But they're like you said, there's more positions where you feel better about than others where you don't need someone. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the offensive line needs someone, but it could certainly help.
Carol asks, how many touchdowns will there be tomorrow? Now, again, Carol, just to explain like the format, I'm sure you already know because you're tuned into every Warchant TV show. But they're not breaking up into two different teams. So it's basically the ones against the ones, the twos against the twos. They might mix it up a little
defense,
bit.
Yeah.
Offense versus defense. So
I would say 4 or 5 probably, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. How long are they playing? Is it like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and then they do some drills?
Tigers made a birdie. Tigers made another birdie.
Oh, he did?
He's +1 now.
Well, wait,
he's going to 15.
Half of the bar is only watching him putt right now, so here comes.
Sorry, gang. Here's a prediction. Tigers about to make this putt. There you go. There it
guys. Is. There's a little surge. The CP had a little Tiger surge. Advanced viewing over on the screen to stage right.
That is crazy. Like to think about what he's gone through, and he's like 4 shots off the lead at the major.
Right.
Not what else is crazy? Not that this is Florida State related. Ohtani. Like Shohei Ohtani, I know he gets a lot of love and he's maybe the face of the sport, but we still don't appreciate, I don't think enough, that my man is a number 1 starter and led the league in home runs and also steals bases.
Well, here's the thing, and my brother-in-law,
it's like a fast Babe Ruth.
My brother-in-law is a Nole, and he met my sister here at Osceola Hall. But he's a huge.
Were they neighbors?
They
Or were they at a party together?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay,
yeah, they're both there. Elizabeth was an RA for a while, so I think that's maybe how they met. But he's a huge Angels fan, so I apologize in advance. That's one of the worst franchises in sports.
Yeah.
I mean, the most irrelevant franchise. Are you an Angels fan? I'm sorry. Well, here's the deal.
An unbelievable talent, and they never win anything.
You got Trout, you got Ohtani, and nobody knows where they are. Nobody sees their games. I mean, like if they were with the Dodgers, maybe it's a Major League Baseball thing, but if they were with the Dodgers, I feel like their star power would be tenfold. And it's not because of wins and losses. It's just there's something about the Angels that they clearly don't want to televise them.
Well, yeah. Well, they don't win a lot. They need to start winning. Now's the year. Because I'd love to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. Mike Trout's pretty good, man.
Yeah, he is. He is indeed.
I don't know if you agree with that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and say Mike Trout's a pretty good baseball player.
He might be okay.
But he's the second best on his team.
If he keeps it up.
Would you agree with that? Because the other guy pitches?
Man. So you've got a top 5 hitter of all time.
Right, but the other guy.
And then you've got the rarest of birds.
I know. They've got 2 super duper stars.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I apologize. Now he's getting frustrated.
He still won.
Well, James B has from the top rope. Where is James B? Where's he at?
He's
floating around. There he is.
There
James.
he is. We see him.
Cheers for the contribution.
Yeah. Thank you, James B.
A sizable contribution to the program. He says he's having too much fun. I agree. This is fun. It's weird to be on this side of the table. Usually I'm over there, and it's
just
you and Jeff.
Ignoring what me and Jeff are saying.
Well, today with the Masters, you're damn right. I would have ignored it.
There we go. See?
There you go.
Got my fans, Kyla.
The coracles. Can they call the hardcores? What do you want to call them? The hardcores, the coracles?
Probably the hardcores.
The hardcores?
Yeah, the hardcores. That's
all
my
right.
fan base. My fan base of 2.
All right, so here's the deal. By the time we do, I guess we're doing one of these for Duquesne. The day before the Duquesne game.
We will do one for every home game, Tom.
All right.
Don't dismiss Duquesne.
All right,
You probably dismissed Jacksonville State last year, too.
Oh, my God. If they're the same thing, no.
That can't happen. It can't happen. I would, if they lose to Duquesne,
so
I will, then he needs to go.
My charge to you out there, people listening, Eric, you can help out with this. The hardcores need to double in number every home game this year for the happy hour show.
So we go from 2 to 4
2
to
8.
4. Okay.
Duquesne 4 is a reasonable ask. I'm not asking for 10.
Yeah, just
4.
Just 4 of them. Yeah.
4 people, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. I think that's the 26th of August. Be here.
They're going to be 1-0 probably. Like they haven't been 1-0 since 2016.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
But you're always starting with a loss.
And that
always.
Felt like 0-1 for about 2.5 hours because that was Francois down in Orlando against Ole Miss. Oh man, yeah, that sucks. And it's usually a September thing. So technically, you're not getting over the September hurdle because you're going to win in August, be 1-0. But then it's LSU the next week. So can September be a freaking good month for once in the past 5 to 6 years? Eric asks, and he's ducking as he asked this. What about Freddie Freeman? What do you think about Freddie?
What about Freddie Freeman?
Okay.
You mean Benedict Freeman?
You're not going to say
Screw
who?
that guy.
I half expected a who.
Screw that guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, if I was at his when he returns to Atlanta, I think I would stand up and cheer and clap while also booing. So I cover my bases because I am mad. I think I'm more mad, not that just he left, he went to that team. And I know he's from there. He could have gone to the Angels.
That would be like your equivalent of a mom having 2 sons in a game and wearing half a jersey. So like
I'm covering. Because I do appreciate what he did. Yeah. He was awesome, and he helped them win a championship. So, but he left for the Dodgers.
So was he just that greedy, or why couldn't the Braves come up to a 6th year? Why does
he need a 6th year, Tom? How much money does he need to make playing baseball? More than $400 million? Good grief.
Well, Steve Cohen would have paid him. That's all I know. But I've got a Met fan right here, so I had to. So your favorite moment, as we're winding down here, your favorite moment that you've seen in spring practice, or the first thing that comes to your mind when I say that, that's probably a better question.
So really, like, reflecting on spring practice, I think 2 of the big things. What's up, buddy?
Michael Langston in the house.
I think 2 of the big things are, again, it's the improvement of Rodemaker, because it gives you a chance. It gives you a chance to not have to go to the portal. And the thing is, man, if they could get Caleb Williams, go get Caleb Williams. He wasn't on the table. So the only person you're getting the portal that's a quarterback is a guy.
Yep.
So now you have your own guy. No offense, Tate. You can be better than that. But you I don't think there's going to be anybody out there that you know for sure is better than Tate Rodemaker if Tate Rodemaker plays like we've seen him play. Well, now, again, if he goes out, and I'm talking about in the portal that you can count on, they would also be interested in Florida State to come back up Jordan Travis. So I think the development of Rodemaker has been big. And I just think, to me, because I'm really solely focused on the offense, because it just has to get better. Norvell is an offensive guy. He came from Memphis with all these accolades for how his offense put up points. And so far through 2 years, that has not been the case. That has to change. And if it does, then you're going to be a pretty good team. But to do that, you need guys that make plays, and I think those receivers have been good too. I think Pittman and Wilson specifically have been guys that will probably a huge part of the offense in the fall.
So the first week or so of practice, maybe the first 2 weeks before I had trenches assignments, we were sitting next to each other at Hauser watching a lot of these reps. And one thing you said, everything you say is true, but one of the things that was more true than most others was say, look at this. Guys are getting open and going and grabbing the football. They're going and finding a way to get to the football and make a play on it. That is a breath of fresh air. That's one of my favorite things. I enjoy the hell out of watching Alex Atkins work and instruct offensive linemen because he is so tactical. Like Odell Higgins is a drill sergeant. He is always in your ear, and he will get in your face. He will yell right up in your ear, and it just never ends. So if you're not that type of player, you wouldn't like it here. But the coaching works, clearly. Look how many dudes he's put in the NFL. But Atkins is just so tactical. Everything is about leverage, and it's like a judo class I wrote, because everything is about leverage, where your hands go, moves and counter moves. And he doesn't really yell in your ear at all times. He'll get pissed off, but he will always say, now why? And it gives you all those little details. But I will say, before those assignments, you're right. Watching receivers create separation, oh my God, create separation.
That's fun to see.
Especially over the middle. It's amazing how good you can look at it as a quarterback if guys create separation over the middle of the field. I think it'll be a wonder. If they do that with consistency, suddenly we'll say that Jordan Travis can now complete passes over the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Well, if guys get open, it's easy to throw to them.
They also, what they did that they did not do, and I'm judging on it's a curve, but I'm judging on what the receivers looked like this time last spring. They were horrible. They might have been the worst receiver group in the Power 5. And I'm talking about they weren't winning one-on-ones, not 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. They couldn't even get open with having the whole field to work with and just one dude covering them. And when they were throwing a 50-50 ball, it was a 5.95 ball. They weren't catching those things ever. Well, now they're legitimate 50-50 balls, maybe more than that.
Yep.
Like I would say the receivers have caught more than the defensive backs when it comes to 50-50 balls, which is a really good thing. That's what you need. You need Jordan Travis doesn't always put it in a great spot, but he can put in a spot where you can go get it.
Yes.
And these guys go get it. And I'm talking about not even just Pittman and Wilson, who have done a really good job. Pittman, especially for being his size to make contested catches. Not the old guys, the returning players have raised their game. So if this receiving corps can just be okay, man, instead of awful, which I think it will be, again, that's more points. It's more wins, you hope.
You can create the balance that a defense has to play you honest, and then now the run game, which they're already really good at, you can stack the box, and they still find a way to break a 40-yard run per game.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing. With a bad offensive line and no real depth in the offense or variety of what they can do, they still found a way last year to break a big one, at least one every single
year,
football game.
every game, so, Corbin had two 90-yard runs, Yeah,
not year, but game. So imagine if they had balance on offense, what they could do. I mean,
imagine what Warchant would do if we had a good football program to cover. Are you kidding me? Where we are now, we are stacked.
I think
we are loaded. There is not another website in the country as loaded as this one. I'm not taking myself out of the equation with everybody else. Loaded. Give us a great product and watch what happens.
You know what we would do if there was a good football, like an 8 or 9 win program this year? The next year for the happy hour, we could crowd surf at the end of the happy hour.
I mean, we would jump out of airplanes, Tom Lang. we would do anything.
That's the Royal
right. Of course.
All right.
Are we almost done? I really have to use the bathroom.
One more promo.
Whatever this is, this strawberry pineapple runs through you, man. I got it.
not the first one. The fruit punch. The fruit punch will not. All right, so I'll let you go in 1 second. Promo whatever the hell you want to promo for the weekend, what you got going on, what your schedule is, what you're looking forward to, anything. I'll give you the floor, then go pee, and I'll do the big promo for all the events.
I'm watching a show on Apple TV called Severance with Adam Scott, which is really good.
He's promoting a show on Apple TV.
I like it. It's been a really good show, and the finale is this week, so I'm excited about that. And, that's, I guess, Warchant. I write some stories.
There you go.
Wake up, Warchant, if you can tolerate Aslan. We're on there, too.
Promote your place of business. Well, there's this show on Apple TV.
Well, whatever. It was weird. We work for the same company.
It is weird.
Yeah. That you asked me to promo something as if, why don't you promo something?
Well, we've got so many wings to the company.
Well, I know.
That's
we
the
do.
Thing. Like, Aslan and I technically work in the same department. I don't see him but maybe like 10 times a year because we're so busy doing our own thing. All right, if you've got to urinate, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll do a promo and we'll sign off.
Thanks.
Corey Clark is leaving the stage.
Thanks, everyone.
Where is this round of applause? The hardcores are failing you. Thanks, everybody, for bearing with me. We're doing the host and producer thing today. So one more promo on the way on. Oh, there it is. The Tominators. Thank you. You see that on your screen for tomorrow. Hotel Indigo, 12 p.m. A Warchant staff meet and greet. Everybody will be there. The hardcores will be there. Corey himself, Ira, Gene, Michael, myself, Austin, all of us. We will be there kicking ass at Hotel Indigo tomorrow at noon to 3. 1 p.m. there'll be a live pregame show with Jeff and myself if Jeff is healthy. If not, I don't know. I might run back from one microphone to the other for a couple of hours. 5 o'clock, Gene and I for a Warchant watch-along, post-game show after the game. Hit like underneath this video if you've not done so already. Subscribe to Warchant TV. We thank our very gracious hosts at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We love Bill and the staff here very much. Thank you to everybody who showed up and showed out this week at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Thank you, James B., for your contribution to the program. Thank you so much earlier in the program to Chad for contributing as well. We'll sign off for tonight. If you didn't catch all of it, you can catch this on Warchant Podcast or on demand on YouTube. For Corey Clark, my name is Tom Lang. Thanks for tuning into Warchant TV, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for the FSU spring game. Good night.